You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record? Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be.
The rise of the WNBA could be traced back to the Caitlin Clark effect. I mean, she has been incredible to get the attention of top veterans like Sheryl Swoopes, who refuses to acknowledge her impact. Caitlin has been exceptional, but has faced a lot of backlashes, with some comparing her to the likes of Angel Reese and Ionescu. Caitlin Clark had a lot of attention when she joined the WNBA, mostly because of her amazing collegiate career. She was well known for her swagger when she entered the court, her incredible scoring prowess, and her flamboyant playmaking. When she transitioned into the WNBA, critics began to emerge, questioning whether her dominance could carry over into the pros. Renowned women's basketball commentator Sheryl Swoopes was especially outspoken about her worries, speculating that Clark's collegiate stats were exaggerated due to playing against inferior opponents.
How much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them. But you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. Like, you should be killing them.
Yeah.
Most of Caitlin Clark critics have often zeroed in on her flashy style, calling it impractical for the WNBA's more structured game. Her rejection from the Olympic selection for Team USA was cited by many as evidence that she wasn't quite ready for the big time. As the pressure grew, it was evident that Clark's goal was to establish her as one of the league's finest players, not only to show that she could compete. So watch this video to the end to see how Caitlin Clark silenced her haters. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Caitlin Clark began her basketball career at the University of Iowa, where her domination on the court was renowned. Clark's name has been associated with record-breaking performances since she first laced up her sneakers. She surpassed the NCAA scoring record with her incredible range, precision, and playmaking skills. She piled up triple-doubles like it was second nature, eventually becoming one of the most decorated players in college basketball history. Her All-American accolades piled up, and she swiftly became the face of women's collegiate basketball. Despite her dominance in college, there were reservations about Clark's ability to carry her success to the WNBA. Critics questioned whether her great college statistics were boosted by weaker competition or a system created around her strengths. Some questioned whether her bold playing style would mesh with the professional game, where the pace was faster and the players bigger, stronger, and more experienced. The narrative shifted from admiration to doubt, with many wondering, but can she dominate at the next level? The expectations were high, but the pressure was even higher as Clark faced the challenge of re-establishing herself on the WNBA stage. Everyone understood that the change would be difficult. The discussions began immediately after Caitlin Clark declared for the WNBA. Some saw her as a generational talent, capable of transforming the women's game, while others anticipated she would struggle against seasoned professionals. But one thing was clear, Caitlin Clark was not going to back down. Despite the doubters, Clark attacked the WNBA with confidence and commitment, just as she had at Iowa. As Caitlin Clark's debut season in the WNBA progressed, so did the criticism. Media figures and former players such as Sheryl Swoopes and Skip Bayless expressed their reservations. They pointed out her turnovers, questioning whether her flashy college performances could translate into true leadership for the Indiana Fever. Swoopes in particular took aim at Clark's college records, dismissing them as illegitimate due to supposed misinformation regarding her playing years. The doubt was heavy, with seasoned observers questioning her capacity to be the game changer that many expected her to be in the WNBA. The clamor surrounding Clark's so-called overrated status became louder with each game. Pundits compared her struggles to other rookies like Angel Reese, who was gaining momentum in the Rookie of the Year race. Reese, known for her grit and physicality, became the go-to pick for those who doubted Clark's all-around ability. Clark wasn't just facing criticism from analysts. There was a growing perception among fans and basketball circles that she was failing to deliver on the big stage. Every turnover or missed shot was magnified, with critics pointing to them as proof that she wasn't ready to lead the Fever. Now this is the turning point. Famously snubbed Clark from Team USA. Clark knew this game was personal. She didn't just win that night, she dominated, with a performance that felt like a direct message to Reeve. Every clutch play, every dagger shot felt like Clark saying, "I belong here." It was a poetic moment of redemption, taking down the very coach who had overlooked her for the Olympic roster. Not only that, Caitlin broke some records that kept her haters changing their mind. Clark continued to carve out her legacy when she set the WNBA assist record against the Dallas Wings, dishing out 19 assists in a single game. This wasn't just about making plays. It was about showing the world that she wasn't a one-dimensional scorer. It's how she silenced all her haters who said she was very selfish on the court by displaying her playmaking ability. Another defining moment came when Clark surpassed the legendary Diana Taurasi's record for most games with 25 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds by a rookie. Outplaying one of the greatest to ever do it was a milestone in itself. But for Clark, it was more than that. It was a personal triumph over the critics, who constantly questioned whether she had what it took to be great in the WNBA. How about the WNBA All-Star Game and Olympic snub? Caitlin Clark seized the moment to make her presence felt in the WNBA All-Star Game, especially against Team USA, the very team that had left her off the Olympic roster. This game was her chance to show not just fans, but also the decision-makers at Team USA what they were missing. Every possession felt like Clark had something to prove, and she dominated the game, leading her team in scoring and assists. The same team that didn't believe she was ready couldn't contain her that night. Team USA's coach, watching from the sidelines, couldn't ignore her any longer. There were rumblings, whispers of regret for leaving Clark off the roster. It was a turning point not only for her career, but also for how the world saw her. What she did on that court in front of the top names in women's basketball. Clark's ascent to the top was fueled by the Olympic snub, which no longer seemed like a defeat. Finally, Caitlin was awarded Rookie of the Year to cap it all off. Caitlin Clark's debut campaign was defined by a game she played against the Chicago Sky. Clark entered the floor with a point to make, even if the Rookie of the Year controversy was still very much alive. With her career-high 31 points and 12 assists, she put an end to the argument and helped her team win. The haters that had clung to their doubts were left with no argument. Clark's performance that night silenced every critic who had questioned her from the start of the season. But more important than the prize was the legacy she was leaving behind. Women's basketball future was being paved by Caitlin Clark, who was demonstrating that she was more than just a player, shattering records. This is indeed a good way to shut down her haters. Even LeBron James had to make this bold statement as a way to troll her haters. The ascent to prominence of Caitlin Clark has been nothing short of remarkable. Clark has always played with something to prove. From her time at Iowa, where she broke numerous records and redefined what a point guard could be, to her thrilling WNBA debut season. She's always flourished under pressure. When people told her she couldn't, she proved them wrong. Clark's narrative is about more than just the records and highlight plays. It's about her unwavering desire to be the best and to demonstrate that greatness shines through no matter how loud criticisms are. She has never had to respond to naysayers with words. Her game speaks for itself.